Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kevin Keough from Oreterra Metals. How are you today?
I'm good, Tracy. Thanks.
Congratulations. You've just had a name change and a rollback. Tell us a little bit more about why you selected the name Oreterra Metals, please.
Yes, the name itself actually just emerged from a process we ran with the directors to really come up with a name that would represent the new company and the new direction. So we're quite happy with Oreterra. And for those of your listeners and viewers who may not be aware, the company emerges as Oreterra from the previous Romios Gold Resources Inc. Romeo's had been around for many years. I knew of the company for many years and had some exceptionally good assets. And it also had some problems, corporate issues. So last year in June, I decided to get involved with the company mainly because of the strength of its assets. And we really walked the company through a major restructuring process over the last 7 months or so, and just emerged, as you pointed out, as Oreterra on the 2nd of February. So things have gone well. We're newly positioned, and we're really ready to roll for the forthcoming exploration field season in BC.
And of course, at the top of your priority list is Trek South. How about we
Yes.
start there? Give us an update on how it's going with Trek South.
Yeah, Trek South is a completely new porphyry copper gold target. It's a big one, and I'd emphasize new, and by that I mean never drilled. And it's really only emerged as a very hot looking target since COVID. So um, I guess many of the people who invest in our company, many of your followers perhaps, are looking for um, potential capital gains opportunities. That's the only reason people put money into these junior explorers, right? We're all hoping for a big payoff, and that can only come from a discovery of merit. I mean, a really significant discovery. Now, I've delivered those discoveries before in the same general area of the world that Oreterra is presently active in. It paid off with GT Gold big time. We think that this new target, Trek South, could also pay off big time. And I think we certainly decided a while ago that it is a strong enough prospect that it's worth focusing all our assets on. And that's what we're about to do this summer.
In our last conversation, you were talking about what helped you guide you through the GT Gold deal. And you said you used a disciplined, discovery-driven model. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you're using that model with Oreterra?
Yeah, we're actually aiming to replicate at Trek South with Oreterra the kind of approach that we took at Saddle North for GT Gold. So there's potentially very similar discovery types, deposit models, porphyry, copper, gold. They tend to be very big. They're large bulk tonnage affairs, relatively low grade compared to high grade vein systems that historically were mined. But today, the major mining companies are really after these porphyry copper gold plays. So because they are large and the mineralization is fairly consistently distributed throughout them, relative to a high-grade vein system where the distribution of metal often is not consistent, because they're large, consistent distribution of metal, they typically require a much lower density of drilling to deliver resources that you could potentially build a mine off, or at least model a mine around. So at Saddle North, we had relatively wide spaced holes. So that's where the discipline comes in, largely grid based drilling. And we're going to replicate the same approach at Trek South. fences of holes, each hole roughly 200 meters apart. I mean, Tracy, that's a really broad um, distribution of holes, right? But it indicates the scale of the target. The scale is big, and if the drilling pays off, the upside could be big as well.
Of course, since you've taken over and redirected the company for the South Trek project, just had excellent news here this last, 10 business days. You announced the completion of your 43101 report. Would you like to hit some of the highlights from that?
Sure. We decided to do a technical report. They're National Instrument 43101 compliant. We decided to do it because we wanted to provide potential investors and our shareholders, existing shareholders, with confidence that what we're proposing to do at Trek and the property itself is really worth the effort. And I think anybody who looks at that report, which is now available on our website and also available on CEDAR, if they read it, they'll understand that there's a lot of geoscience backing up this target. We have very good reason to be excited about it. And in my personal view, it is actually the best copper gold porphyry prospect I've seen in my career. And I would say, in terms of its exposure, what you can physically see on surface, it's superior to most in British Columbia.
Will you be at PDAC?
Yes, we'll be at PDAC, actually. We'll be there. We were at Roundup, but we did not have a booth because we hadn't got out the door in time with the new Oreterra. So yes, we'll be at PDAC. We have a booth there. I can't tell you what the number is, but we'll have a lovely new setup. So people, please come by and see us, and we'll get you excited about what's to come this summer.
Well, we're looking forward to doing an in-person interview with you during PDAC. But what should shareholders anticipate in the next quarter? I mean, the news flow has been certainly impressive since you've taken over, Kevin.
Well, that's been a joint effort. Stephen and myself, we really couldn't have done it separately because there was a lot to do, Tracy. So, yeah, there was a lot of news flow, and mostly that was about restructuring the company and, of course, the technical report. Um, but it's not far now to the start of the summer drilling season, right? Everything happens very quickly now because I can tell you in British Columbia at the current time, right now, it's getting really hard to get vendors, drillers, chopper companies, because the industry is busy. So it's all underway right now. I think people just have to be patient for a few months while we stitch together the vendors. And of course, the next step is a financing, which we've talked about. That'll be coming very shortly. We'll use those proceeds to really do the work this summer at Trek South. And once we get into the drilling itself in July, the news should come pretty consistently thereafter. And I'm hoping for good news pretty much out the bat, rather out the gate on the program when we get into it.
I haven't had a chance to look. Is the new website up for the new name?
Yes, it's up. It's or you can actually Google Oreterra Metals or Oreterra. So it's oreterra.com. That's Oreterra.com.
So for those of you interested in finding out more and following Oreterra, please go to the following website that has just been spelled out for you by Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Tracy.